All right. So, good morning. Good morning. Welcome. Welcome. Um, we're going to be working with connecting with the light today, and we have done work with the light before. So this is just a little bit more of that. But there's something here I want to read you from the Yoga Journal calendar, and it's titled Survive a Difficult Time. So I was on LinkedIn yesterday and somebody wrote a post on there. Can we all agree that 5 years ago in 2015, none of us knew where we would be in 2020, what we would be going through? 2019, 2020. So it's maybe not as difficult as some make it out to be, but I thought this was something good that we can work with this morning and maybe use it as a practice so that if you do bump into some difficulties, maybe like poison ivy. No, I'm kidding. That you can remember this and kind of keep it in your awareness that it's something that you can do. So it says, in a quiet place, sit comfortably with your hands resting in your lap, palms open. Begin by taking several relaxed, easeful breaths, which we will be doing. I guess I could go back onto my mat and whoops, sliding off my mat blanket. Um, So after taking some easeful breaths, it's an interesting word, easeful, start to visualize the light within your heart. And you can do this now as part of the centering for this practice today. As an image comes to mind, continue to breathe comfortably and focus your attention on that light within. So you know your heart center, your chakra, anahata, is at your sternum. To help you focus, you may want to softly speak or chant the words of a yoga sutra translated as "My inner light shines." Once the image of the light feels strong and clear, add a simple movement to that visualization. As you inhale, extend your palms outward. As you exhale, place your palms over your heart. It's very simple. And just repeat it a few times and then sit quietly for a few moments, continuing to take deep, relaxed breaths. Then focus, bringing the light into each of these areas, somewhere in your own body that is in need of support, or your mind, or your relationships, or your community. So those are just areas where you might focus. So again, the words that we would use are "my inner light shines." So let's just sit quietly and turn our palms up. Now I'm going to add a little suggestion here because it just came to me. So guidance is providing this. Um, I would like to suggest that you imagine light in the palms of your hands. We do have chakras in our palms, and they are useful, these chakras. So as you sit quietly and just let go of the week. I think a more empowering way to repeat the chant rather than my inner light shines, I think it might be more empowering to repeat, I shine my inner light. It's more of an active role rather than passive. And either way is fine. It's just a suggestion. So as you imagine the light in your palms, imagine the light in your heart center, and if you consider it, there's a shape, a geometrical shape that forms if you have your palms on your thighs turned up and your heart. So you have a triangle, which is considered to be the most beneficial flow of energy of the geometric shapes. So just know that you're adding power to yourself or invoking it. I wouldn't say adding, invoking that power of the light and the triangle that you've created with your body. And now just scan your body and see what your body's needs are. Where do you have some tightness or some pain? We, with these human vehicles, sometimes experience those types of sensations. So just see where in your body that might be. Now consider your mental activity. Sometimes our minds just get so filled and so busy, they race. And sometimes they're still or close to stillness with a gentle flow of energy through our minds. So just see where you're at, just as a starting point to compare at the end of the practice. Never any judgment for anything. Excuse me. And now bring your focus to your breath. Observe. So, for our attunement to breath this time, remember the light shining in your palms and in your heart center, your heart chakra. And then just extend your arms forward as you inhale. And then exhale and cross your hands over your heart center as you exhale. And then just repeat, inhale, exhale it in. And just in your mind, repeat, I shine my inner light. It seems natural as you inhale and reach to repeat, I shine. Exhale, palms in, my inner light. But you do it however it feels most natural for you. As you move and as you repeat the mental statement, see the light in your palms and see the light in your heart and let it expand, increase. Imagine it to the point that you can actually feel the energy moving around your hands and around your heart. To me, it feels like a ball of energy, but see what you notice, if anything. Just a few more repetitions. I shine my inner light. And one more movement with the arms, coordinated with the breath. And then hold your hands over your heart and just pause and notice. And see if there's some place that you want to send this light, whether into your body, into your mind, into your relationships, into your community, or one at a time, all of the above, whatever works for you in this moment. If you're working with several relationships, you can put everybody in a room with you and shine that light on everybody at once and see that light emanating from you, sharing it with your relationships. And as for your community, it's generally thought of to be the town or city that you live in, but we've become a global community. So you might even want to expand the size of your community and the size of where you share your light. Just a thought, it's up to you completely. Notice any feelings that come in or come to awareness. And now, if you feel complete with this imagery and energy work, then we'll just release our hands from our heart. You can open your eyes and we'll get started with some movement. Let's just stretch like you've just gotten up. So just reach up and about, just circle your wrists and squeeze your fingers. Bend one arm, bring your elbow to or behind your head, and a little stretch over to the side. Just being cautious since it's your first move, and well, maybe you've been up and doing things earlier, but just to be aware, mindful is a better word, and switch arms, lift. And if your elbow is behind your head, you can press your head back a little bit to open your shoulder. If that feels good, and go to the other side. And back to center. And then just reach up and draw your arms behind you, interlace your fingers. Open your shoulders as you press your arms away. You can add the head movement, the contraction in the neck muscles and shoulders. As you stretch, feel your chin lift and your throat chakra open. And then release your arms. I like to think about the throat chakra. It is a creative chakra, the creative word. But I like to think about it where we speak our truth. First, we need to know our truth. What is it in this moment? It can expand and change. But also, when we go down from the throat chakra, we go to the heart. So we speak with compassion. We have the high heart, which is communication with spirit, compassionate communication with spirit. And then your heart center, which is compassion and love. And then if you're going to speak your truth, you may need a lot of courage to do that, especially in these days. So that would be, I believe, your solar plexus chakra. So in yoga, we address all of those, and we will be doing that this morning. So just stretch out your legs, shake them out, circle around a few times in your ankles, both directions, flex in point. Hmm. And then if you would, just come up onto the balls of your feet. And we're just going to rock on the balls of our feet. Bring your knees closer and closer to the mat. And eventually down, excuse me, onto the mat. As you place your knees on the mat, press your heels away as much as your body will allow in this moment to stretch your Achilles tendon, and then come back up and sit on your heels. And then come forward onto your hands and knees and just pat your feet on the floor a few times. And then come back onto the balls of your feet, and we'll work with our hip openers. So just separate your feet, press the knees back, side to side, lengthen up through your spinal column. And then we'll come down into Malasana, garland pose or goddess pose, and bring palms in, press the knees open, stretch up tall, and bring your thumbs in to touch your heart center. And just repeat our chant this morning: I shine my inner light. Okay, slide your hands forward. Let's pull out into a plank. Oh, stretch your heels away. Feel your calf muscles. Summer, we're all out exercising more, whether working in the yard or recreation. And then just pull into your plank. Feel your solar plexus and your core muscles. Your empowerment. Stimulating your own power, invoking and waking it up. And let that energy flow up into your throat chakra. Let your knees down, the tops of your feet. Let your hips come forward and just roll side to side, stretching the hips down on each side. And then as you work with this, just lift your chin and become aware of your throat chakra as the energy flows up. And we'll pull back into puppy stretch. And then just lift up onto your knees. Bring your palms onto your low back, just with fingertips down towards your tailbone or towards your knees. We're just going to do a couple little back bends. Not fully into camel, but just warming up our backs for a nice cobra pose this morning. So press on your sacrum area, lift up out of your knees. You can turn your toes under or not, whatever is more comfortable, most stable for you. Breathe your deep breath all the way up into your collarbones, and then engage hips and stretch to the back. Bring your elbows closer to open the chest, and then come forward again. Just a little bit of a rounding here as a counter pose, and then Breathe and lift up again. Just think of that energy flowing up from your core all the way up into your throat. And come back to center. Now, a fun way to do this also is to keep, we'll take your right hand and my left, my right, your left hand, extending it forward and up by your ear. Reach up, inhale. Press on your low back and go to the back. That's going to give you a little leverage to take you further if you're ready. And then come forward, reach forward and round your back. As you switch hands, and then inhale, lift your right arm up, raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear to practice yoga forever and ever. Coming to the back and reach forward and just hands on your hips, a little rounding of your back. And then palms to the floor, come forward. Excuse me. Bring your hips forward, lengthen out away from your knees, coming into, I call it traction, where you're just kind of hanging. Legs as close together as they'll stay, taking a breath. Exhale and slightly bend your elbows, lower your pubic triangle down onto the mat. You can adjust your hands for comfort. Open the shoulders, press the pubic triangle down against the earth. That protects your low back, connects you to the earth. That's your root chakra there, your earth chakra. So imagine that energy flowing right on up from the earth, from your roots into your solar plexus, your core, up into your throat. Lift your chin. And then press back into child's pose to stretch out your work. Bring your arms to your sides, palms up, unless you need to use your arms for a pillow. Softly bend your elbows so your shoulders can relax. And then bring your palms next to your knees. Slowly lift up. Take your time. You've been inverted. And then just come up onto the balls of your feet once again for noose pose. So get a good, firm press into the ground. Bring palms into prayer hands for our prayer twist. Going to your left. Bring the elbow over to that left knee. Thumbs towards the heart. And then Ganesh Mudra. Outer fingers go forward, inner fingers in towards the elbow. Slide the hands and hook the fingers. Mantra is Om Gam Ganapataya Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataya Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataya Namaha. Wringing out tension, wringing out that difficulty that we sometimes have to handle. Just part of life. Coming back to center, palms together. Bring your palms to the floor and stretch out your ankles, loosen them up. The ankles represent support in our life. When we have difficulties with our ankles, we need to ask ourselves if we are supporting ourselves or if we're receiving enough support from our relationships. So coming back onto the balls of your feet, get stable. Bring your palms in and turn to your right into your prayer twist. And then Ganesh Mudra. And the mantra Om Gam Ganapataya Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataya Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataya Namaha. And then coming back to center, just stretch your palms forward on the mat and press back into plank pose. And just come forward onto your toes. Press your heels back, forward, and back, forward, and back. This time, keep your heels pressing and down to the floor for your downward facing dog. You can work your ankles a little bit more here if you like. Just lift up onto your toes. Press your heels down. And then come forward into plank. Come onto the tops of your feet. Press your legs into a firm hold and let your hips come down. Lift your chin, your chest into upward facing dog. Hips are firm, legs are firm. Roll up and over your toes, pressing into downward facing dog. Bring it forward, plank, tops of the feet, upward dog. Roll it up and over, down dog. Plank, up dog. Down dog. Take your left foot and place it on the back, on the heel of your right foot. Just adding a little assist to press your heel down. As you press your heel down, tilt your hips up. Really yummy stretch on the back of that leg. And switch. Left foot down, cross the back, the
right foot across the back of your ankle, your heel. Back to down dog. And let your knees come down, tops of your feet, and lift up into sitting on your heels. Okay. So here, with your fingertips on the floor, lift and just separate your heels outside of your hips and see if you can place your hips down on the floor in between your feet. See how that feels on your thighs and your knees. Okay, bring your hands around behind you. Lean back a little bit. Now, you might want to check where you're at on your mat, depending on where you are headed with this. But leaning back. So potentially you can go all the way down onto the floor. So just allowing for your body's flexibility this morning, lower down to where is right for you. So you come down first onto your forearms, see if that feels good on your knees and your thighs. And then you can separate your elbows and lower down a little bit further, still using your forearms for support if you want. Now, before I go all the way down, I like to lift my hips up and roll my hips under. So that's even an added stretch on the thighs. And then separate the elbows and lower your back onto the floor. Ah, how much attention have you been giving your thighs lately? Now to finish this pose, lift your arms up overhead and hold on to your elbows, letting your arms relax down and just release into a relaxing thigh stretch. The idea is to keep the knees close together, but if they separate, it is what it is. To come out of the pose, bring your hands back by your feet, press up onto your elbows, up onto your palms, lift your hips and bring your right foot forward so that you can sit on your hips. So keep your right foot, your right knee bent in. Bring your left leg around and bring the foot to where you usually work with the twist. So your foot can be in front of your shin, just beyond your knee, or above your thigh. So you do want to keep both sitting bones on your mat and just drawing that knee in towards the opposite shoulder. Press the sitting bones down, extend up through your spine, and then take your left arm and scoop it up. Inhale. Hold on to your front leg, your bent knee, and bring your arm around for your twist. Look over your shoulder. Just breathe and work at your edge. Press your sitting bones down. Hold your leg and breathe your left arm up next to your ear. And then unwind, coming forward and down. Good job. All right. We're just going to lean back and switch our legs so we can go to the twist on the other side. Stretching the knee in towards the opposite shoulder. You can get the knee in a little closer if you draw your tummy in. It says here in fine print. All right, so holding on to that knee, scoop your right arm out, breathe and lift next to your ear, and then open your torso to the wall next to you. Bring your arm down into your twist. Remember to keep your deep breaths flowing. And to come back, press down in your sitting bones, connect with the earth beneath you. Breathe your right arm up next to your ear and unwind, coming to the front. And just bring both feet out in front of you for a couple of cat stretches. So hip width apart and just round your back and then lift up into an arch and round and arch and just kind of loosening up after your twisting. Okay, so from here, we're going to come into a side plank. So come onto your right side. You want your right palm underneath your shoulder and stretch your legs out. Flex your feet and stack them if you can. Some people prefer to have the feet like you're standing on them, one in front of the other. But you get really good leverage if you stack them, but your choice. Body facing forward. So you're in a straight line from shoulder to ankles. Okay. So spread the fingers out on your right hand. Press down, lift your hips up, and then lift your left arm up into side plank. Now see if you can slide that left leg up, bend the knee, and then take it back down. See how that feels. Let your hips down. You can soften your knees there and come back down. If you need to, you can circle around in your right wrist and bend your elbow because we're going to come back into the side plank. So stretch it out. And lift up. Now bend that top knee. See if you can lift that leg up without falling over. Just lift. Just play with it. It's hard to hold sometimes. And sometimes your arm just gets tired and have to leave it go. We'll go to the other side and maybe we'll come back to this. Sometimes one arm is stronger than the other. We'll come into our side plank. Keep your breath flowing. Spread your fingers out on your left palm. Straighten out your body. Feet are stacked. And press up into your side plank. And see if you can lift that left or your right foot along up to your knee and take it back down. And then lower down. Bend your elbow, loosen in your wrist. And come back for your side plank. And we'll just see how we do. Play with lifting that leg. Some days are better than others. No worries, no judgment. Press up into your plank. Press down firmly into that left foot and just bend your knee. Lift your leg up. Hold and come back down. That side was a little better for me. How was it for you? Circle around in your wrists. Okay, let's come back to the other side. A lot of times you'll notice when we're doing these planks or some of these strengthening moves, the first time it seems like impossible or difficult. And then when we repeat it, it's like we have more strength. Sometimes it just happens. So let's try it. Other side, on your right. Stretch out your legs. Spread out your fingers. Breathe. Exhale and press up into your plank. Bend your knee, lift, and reach up. And there you have it. And lower down. And let's just move right to the other side. Legs are firm. Activate your core too. Don't forget you have that inner light. You have that power. Press up into your plank, side plank. Bend your knee and lift your leg up. Yay! And let your foot down. All right. Let's come on to the balls of our feet. How's everybody doing? Circle around a little bit more in your wrists. Stretch your arms out, flex, and then draw your fingers down. Stretch your wrist forward, the top of your wrist. Flex and back. And then press up into your downward facing dog. Walk your feet in, head to knee. Breathe and exhale it in. Soften your knees, toes forward, arms out to the side, push the floor away. Breathe it up. Reach. Palms together. Down over your heart. And once again, breathe in as you reach your palms forward. I shine. Exhale over your heart, my light. Breathe. I shine, my light. Breathe. I shine, my light. Just feel all that energy in you. You've created a massive amount of energy with your plank poses and holding. Feel your heart underneath your hands. And release your arms. Now, standing somewhere in the center of your mat, just bring your left foot over your right. Bring palms together. Inhale. We're going to twist to each side. Thumbs touching your heart. Just turn to your left and turn to your right. One side's easier, isn't it? Turn to the right. Come back to center. And we're going to switch our feet. Nice straight legs. Core muscles, pull up and in, take in your breath. And to your left, to your right. So you inhale to center, exhale to your twist. Back to center. Release your arms. Uncross your feet. Soften your knees, just bend a couple times. All right. Shoulders, how do they feel after your side plank? Bring your arms around behind you and stretch them up behind you. You can also come into a forward fold from here. Take in your breath. This is optional. Just hinge forward in your hips. Come down over your legs. Now release your hands. Reach fingertips to the floor. Bend your knees. Bring your hips onto the mat. Open into butterfly for a couple of wing beats, just loosening in the hips and then bringing knees back in and prepare for your Savasana now. If you need water first, that's fine. Listen to your body's needs. And as you relax down, just remember who you are. A spark of the divine. Now, divine sparks shine really brightly, so shine your light even as you relax down. Let it shine. I shine my inner light through difficult times. Shine your light. Because when you're shining it from within, you're already lighting up yourself. Then you share it with the world. Let it go. Let go. Just keep relaxing. Now I'm going to bring in the Gayatri Mantra. Om Bhur Svaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bargo Devasya Dhimahi धियो यो न prachodayat. Om Bhurbuva Svaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bargo Devasya Dhimahi धियो yo na prachodayat. Om Bhurbuva Svaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bargo Devasya Dhimahi धियो yo na prachodayat. Om Bhurbuva Swahat Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dio Yona Prachodayat Om Bhurбhuvah Swahat Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dio Yona Prachodayat Om Bhurбhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dio Yona Prachodayat. Let the chant melt your heart, lighting your light and shining your light, bringing your awareness back to the physical now, feeling your body, feel the earth beneath you, bring some movement in, grounding into your body. Maybe take your head side to side, loosen in your neck, and then slide your knees together, your feet together. Bring your knees up to your chest. Stretch them in, give them a big hug, and then come to one side and lift into sitting. And then taking your right hand, your first two fingers, index and second finger, like a salute, like the Cub Scouts or the Girl Scouts. Just place those two fingers arm's length on the floor. I believe this is BHU Mudra, which grounds all of your work this morning and seals in the benefits, all that strength, all that light, all that love, the divine spark which you are. And then bring palms into prayer hands, Anjali Mudra. A great start to the weekend. Namaste, everybody. Thanks for being here, letting me share yoga with you, shining your light right through the screen.